Good evening. I'm Lawanda Pulley, and again, we're bringing you another episode of The City Speaks. We've been doing a lot of talk about COVID, and I know everybody is tired of hearing about COVID. But let me tell you something. We think COVID is the new norm. Well, the new norm is about to change because wintertime is coming, flu season is coming, and for what we thought or for what the state now says is tapering off, it's about to get real around here. So we want to talk about some other things. You know, we always talk about the medical part and getting tested and this, that, and the other. So I thought tonight we would just take a little different aspect on COVID. So I have a special guest for us tonight. We're not talking about family per se, just family affected, but we're going to talk about some individual things. So with me this evening, I have Miss Tina Bazemore. So Tina is a licensed clinical social worker and the owner of Straight Walk Family Services here in Rocky Mount. So welcome, Tina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ooh, see, she got that little soft voice and stuff, y'all. So Tina, tell us about Straight Walk first of all.
So Straight Walk is a mental health and substance abuse company. We're located at 505 Sunset Avenue. We do outpatient therapy, medication management. We do DWI assessments. We have an ACT team, which is called Assertive, a community treatment team. We work with severe mentally ill clients, and we try to keep them from being hospitalized. We also offer substance abuse intensive outpatient treatment, so those clients that might struggle with substance abuse, we offer groups 3 times out the week. We do DOT assessment, so those people that have their CDL license and if they lost their license from driving drunk, our job is to protect the people, but also to help these drivers get their license back. So another main component we offer is veteran support. So we do outpatient therapy and medication management with our veterans as well.
Okay, oh, that's a mouthful there. I'm lost already. Okay, so a lot of these things are personal services.
Right.
And individual improvement and self-improvement type of things for empowerment of self,
yes,
per se, or self-improvement, self-help,
yes, ma'am,
type of services. And they're also mental health associated, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I invited Tina to talk with me this afternoon, and I have experienced a lot of things with some of these people in COVID. So Tina's going to help us work through some of these phobias that people have behind quarantining and not having money and stuff like this. So we're just going to have a general conversation, and maybe we can offer something that's going to help someone that is under quarantine or someone who might be quarantined and stuff. So Tina, tell us about how depression plays a part when people have to quarantine with COVID.
Well, when people have to quarantine with COVID, it's a lot within itself, especially if you're a single parent. So when you have to isolate yourself, then you're withdrawing yourself from family and friends, mentally it's draining because you're already dealing with these other symptoms. So not only that, you're in this room isolated by yourself. It only gives you time to like just think about all the negative things, or if you would have did this, or if I did this differently. So you have all this negative thinking that's impacting you, and you're already not doing well within your body. So when it comes to being quarantined, it's just so many emotions because you're already dealing with sadness. You can't sleep when you're dealing with depression. And so with COVID, from my understanding, with these symptoms, you're already not sleeping anyway. So now you have your mind racing, which is a lot. It's a lot to deal with when you go most days and all you could think about is when is day 14, or, you know, when can I get out of this? And you cannot get out of it until that actual, 14-day period is up. So you just have a lot of time to just think about all the negatives and nothing positive because you're by yourself.
Okay, so now I know that you know my grandmother always used to tell me, there is power in positive thinking. So how do these people go to make everything that's negative that's going on in a step-by-step motion to make it positive so it won't be as depressing for them?
Well, I think a lot of times if you have that support, family, friends, that's one thing that you could do. Reach out by telephone, or use your portal, maybe FaceTime. Have that person that you can talk to, that you can identify that's a good support system. Because if you don't talk about it, it's just going to eat you up on the inside. I think another thing is to be able to have something that you used to enjoy, bring that into the room. If it's art, poetry, journaling, like the whole experience. Because once you get out of it, you're not going to be there always, but once you get out of the experience, you can help someone else along the way. Never leave no man behind. So you just never know who else is going through that experience. But if you're able to tell them about your own experience and what helped you get out of it, it might make a difference. Reading, even though we have to be in a room, you can still do so many other things to get you out of this negative mindset. And one is changing that mindset to know that it's going to be an end, just not today, but I got to get to day 14 to get better. So it starts there. It starts in the mind, changing it. And if you have a hard time changing it, again, I always say find that one person, just one person that you can at least talk to put a smile on your face, someone that can help bring back good memories, just simple things that can just, eat something that's going to, even if you can't eat, make you happy just for that moment. At least that's one moment that you didn't have time to think about the negative things in your past. A lot of times when people have COVID and they have depression, they deal with anxiety and trauma. So you got all these feelings and you cooped up in this one room, you have to make something positive out of a rainy or stormy type day.
All right. That's a good suggestion. I never thought of it like that. So I thank you for that. Now, we've had, I don't know if everybody has been watching the NASH numbers or anything, but we've had some increasing deaths in the last week. And, it's almost to the point where it's at least one a day. I know the blurb that came out this morning, there were 2 deaths on yesterday. So what advice do you have for these families who are dealing with COVID and deaths from COVID, and about to go through the grieving process and all this stuff right now?
Well, I think grief within itself is hard, regardless of if it's from COVID, cancer. You have that right to go through your stages. One day you might be in denial, then you might be angry. It's okay to let your body feel that pain. Don't deny it because it's real, and this is what you are going through. Again, I always say you gotta talk. You can't hold it in. You have to talk about what you're feeling. And when people ask, well, how you doing? Well, heck, I just had death. You don't hold back what it is. Like you're hurting. You have to be able to talk about it. Again, don't hesitate when the journal what you're going through. You just lost that loved one. Today you don't want to journal, but next week life will have to go on for you. And so when you don't think that you can go on, you have to know that you will be able to go on. It might not be today, but eventually you will get there. So you have to work with those stages of grief.
Okay. So we've got a lot of advice here. The main thing, I guess, is having a support system.
I would say so.
So,
but when I say that, a lot of people don't have family. They're not as fortunate to have someone that they can call. So either it be a worker or someone that they can feel like they can depend on. It's one person out there in this world you can't call on.
Well, I'm not gonna throw no names out there or anything, but I've had some people tell me that they were fine somewhat, you know, during their quarantine. But when they went back to work, people looked at them like they were crazy, and people treated them differently, or act like, you know, they had the plague still, even though they were off quarantine and stuff like this. Any advice?
Well, and that's a difficult one, because you're looking at, you're trying to put yourself back out in this environment, but you would think or try to be a mind reader, wondering what are these people saying about me on the job. But the one thing that I can say is that those people don't pay your bills.
Oh!
So at the end of the day, you got to do what you need to do for you and your family. And you cannot allow what people may think or what people may say deter you from reaching your ultimate goal. And if that's your job and you there to make that money, then you do what you need to do. Bottom line.
So I offered somebody some advice, and I just tell me if I was wrong. So the young lady that was talking to me, you know, she was talking about how strange people were treating her and stuff when she went back to work and stuff. And I said, girl, let me tell you something. They talk about me every day. Every day they talk about me. I said, being good, bad, or indifferent. They do. I said, no, I said, thank you. Because if you're talking about me, I must be doing something right, because that's a light that's shining on me. And I was like, I feel like I'm in good company when they talk about me, because they talk about Jesus Christ too.
That's right.
So did I tell them wrong?
I don't think what you said was wrong at all.
So
yeah, they talk about Jesus, they will talk about you. So
that's
I mean,
right. You know, so I feel honored when people talk about me, because, you know, people talk about me and they don't even know who I am. So I feel honored, because that's a green light in my direction, whether it be envy on their part or you know, whatever it is, that's not important to me, you know, but it doesn't bother me when people talk about me, because I know where my heart is. And that's what I tried to tell her, you know, as long as you know where your heart is and you're doing what you need to do for you, it don't matter what nobody else says.
right.
Because they ain't got to pay your bills.
That's right.
So, I get that part. So how have you been getting along with this COVID thing? Y'all.
I eat all the time.
Okay.
But for the most part, I'm very fortunate to say I do have support. But one of the things that I can say as a mother, it's been a struggle with the whole virtual academy, kids going back to school, trying to help, you know, I have a 14-year-old, a 5-year-old that just started kindergarten, and I have a 2-year-old. So it's a lot, because somebody's not going to get all the attention. And now that you have school back in place, you have to learn how to balance. And most parents can't find that balance, which causes them to get overwhelmed, which causes them to get depressed, because they can't help their kids. You got to think about parents that can't read, but the school expects for them to help their children to learn how to use a hotspot or computers. You know, some parents are not as fortunate to submit their kids' homework. You know, the expectations are really set high, which sometimes I feel like is setting us up for failure, because a lot of parents just do not know how to meet the needs of what the school is asking for. But I just think overall, I'm managing it the best way that I can. And I think for our people, we need to know you just got to do your best and do what you can do.
And, you know, Fonte and I did a segment on this very thing. You know, when the kids were out of school back last year, for the last school year, and I forewarned everybody that this was going to happen this year. And I know a lot of people thought I was just talking to be talking, you know, but I made the suggestion then that people get set up and get ready to homeschool and get prepared. And it's here.
It's here.
And it doesn't look like this homeschooling thing is going to go away. You know, and I tried to make a suggestion, you know, if you're not prepared or you don't feel like you're educationally ready, then try to align your children with someone who is. Because I have one friend, and what they're doing is they have taken 3 families of kids that are about the same school age, and they share the educational responsibility amongst 3 families. And that's a good thing because that allows, you know, so there's like 6 parents involved. So that allows everybody to be able to get out of the house to go to work.
Right.
You know, it rotates them out to get that stress away from being stuck at home with the kids and stuff like this. So I think what they have is a pretty little good system, you know. So they only have to have the kids 1 week out of the month.
That's good.
That's a very good system.
Again, you got that support system.
It's a support system. So, but I think for those parents who don't have the skills or don't have the capabilities, you know, you can't be afraid. You know, so many of us who can't read or who can't write, you know, or have fallen short on our education are so ashamed of what we've done that we won't even ask for help for our children. And we're hurting our children in the process.
Yeah.
So, you know, this brings on more mental stress and toll and stuff like this. So if you find yourself as an individual getting bogged down with depression or anxiety or feeling the room closing in on you, it is my suggestion that you don't let the walls continue to get closer and closer. And like Tina said, reach out to somebody. And if you don't have anybody to reach out for, there's 800 numbers all over everywhere for you to get mental health. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get on medication or you have to see a psychiatrist. Sometimes all you need is a therapist.
Just a vent.
Just somebody to talk to. Let it all out. That's Miss Tina. Straight Walk Family Services.
Thank you.
So, you know, we just wanted to let you know because I don't know how much everybody keeps on around the state, but there's so much support for other places within our own state of North Carolina. You know, and there are resources that are not available here in our community because there are 4 different sectors that are composed of 20 counties, none of which include Nash County or Edgecombe County or Halifax County or Northampton County or Martin County, but they come as far as Wilson. And this is a support group that is doing part of the tracing. You know, they have all sorts of monetary resources and food resources and support resources for those persons that are getting quarantined who lived in their counties. And I feel like I live in the ugly duckling city, you know, because we don't have those things afforded to us, you know, but being here in the rural community is where resources are needed even more. You know, so what is it that you see in your office like this?
Well, housing is a big piece because people are not able to work. So they're losing housing. You know, they're losing, you know, if you can't work, you can't provide for your family. You know, so if their job laid them off and then their benefits, you know, gets cut off, you can't, what are you supposed to do?
I know, and there's no shelter to go to here.
So living in a rural area, you know, we have is good, but we have is bad because it's limited resources.
So how is it then? I that's the part, well maybe that's my little red wagon. I really don't understand that. You know, because the initiative that came out from the Minority Health Group, Health Division here in the state of North Carolina, some of the hottest spots on the state of North Carolina were in the rural community. But yet and still, that's where the least amount of resources is. So, what is that telling us? I mean, for me, you know, I look at it and it's like, we don't matter. That's what it boils down to.
Right.
You know, you telling me this is where the most cases are, but this is where the least resources
Right.
are.
And so we out here basically got to fend for ourselves.
Fend for yourselves. So you need that support system, you know? And I know everybody's on that mindset about don't touch my child, don't do this, don't do that. But it's this time and times like these, we need to think about the concept, I am my brother's keeper.
We have to pull together.
Because if we don't look after each other, who gonna look after us? That's the plague. It's the plague, y'all. The rural community, the underserved community, the black community. This is a time where the leaders of the community, the churches of the community need to stand tall. And I don't see any of them right now. So, I don't know. Give me your take. What you think?
Mind my business.
It's free speech.
I know it is. It's just, it's sad because I feel like what they say, the rich get rich, the poor get poor. So it's like, if we don't wake up and realize, if we don't start pulling together, we just don't drown.
I've been preaching that I've been saying that ever since we've been on this COVID stuff, and how we need to get together as a community and come together as a community, I have shied away from saying anything or making any comment about the Black Lives Matter movement. Not in that I don't support the Black Lives Matter movement, but as a medical professional right now, all lives matter. So, even though I do advocate for the African American community, as a rural community, we need to pull together even stronger. Be black, white, Hispanic, and I'm gonna tell you, I have just as many Hispanic cases of COVID walk through my front door as I do black. So, yeah, all Black lives matter, but right now with COVID, all lives matter. And as a community, it's my concept that everybody needs to look out for their neighbor. I don't care what color they are.
Right.
But we gotta do something.
Right. We have to pull together.
Or we're not gonna beat this thing. So, give everybody a mental health thing to remember, or information that they can lead on, or how they contact you for further services.
If you need someone to talk to, do not hesitate to contact Straight Walk, 252-212-5524. I would say during this time, again, it is time for us to wake up and know that you are not in this by yourself. If you need to reach out to anyone, if it don't even be Straight Walk Family Services, talk to someone. Because again, depression is real, anxiety is real, mental health is just real within itself. But again, do not hesitate to give Straight Walk Family Services a call.
Well, thank you, Tina.
Well, thank you for having me.
For joining me for this little evening, for this little girls talk about mental health and stuff like that. It has been real today. And it's not that we're trying to identify anybody with mental health or anything, but depression is real. And being quarantined when you're alone, or even when you have family and you can't socialize, is something that's a true realization with COVID, and once you're diagnosed positive. So I want to thank Tina for coming by today and giving us this little talk. It's my recommendation that you heed her advice. And I guess that's it for this evening. This has been The City Speaks, and we thank you for tuning in.